Welcome to this video. Thanks for tuning in and sharing in this now moment with myself and with one another. I'm going to go into a little bit of flow. My intention is unity and oneness, the highest levels of love light. This is meant to be felt, not necessarily understood on a linear basis in case I go into some light language, but it's a play on words and it's a communication play. Later on, I might be talking in this video or the next video about our missions and our purpose here from my perspective. So we'll maybe put that at the end. And so as we open into this field and as we allow ourselves to communicate with it, we then find our mission statement. Many of us find our ability to perceive or to see or to communicate with that which it is that we came here to present, that we came here to make presentable, that we came here to interpret. Yet we would encourage all to recognize that there is no mission greater than the heart. There is no greater companionship to rule our ship than the heart. For within the heart, we are able to conceive. We are able to see beyond a one-track ladder, beyond a one-track imagination, beyond a one-track thinking. And this increases our ability to be more coherent with all tracks, with that which it is that attracts us and that which it is we are attracted to, and so on and so forth. And why do we say this? We say this because there are many who are looking for a pattern. Many are looking for a reason that they are here. And we would share that there are many reasons that one individual person is here. And it isn't necessarily the reason that they think that it is. For as we step out into the world and as we begin to interact with the world in a different way, as we begin to play, we begin to open to the myriad of ways, I'm hearing triunification, triad, the mirror, the reflection of all ways that we are. And so when we are in the heart and we find our corridor there, it opens the door at the core of what it is that we really want. And we oftentimes find that what we really want isn't what we think that we want, or it may not be what we thought we wanted. And we bring this back into thinking, for as we put our thinking caps on, we are being called to graduate from one level of thinking and move up into the companionship of the heart, the core access point that stabilizes our field, that allows us access to more. And when I say access, I'm saying axis, A-X-I-S-A-S, or A-C-E-S-S, that allows us to access more of our human potential. And because we have the potential to be more than just one thing, many of us are being called out. Many of us are being called out of our, I'm seeing like a graduation robe. We're taking off the robe, we're taking off and throwing our caps, and we're looking like, now what? Now what is our mission? What is our purpose? Many are being called from or feeling soul driven or so driven to deepen their soul expression or to find their soul expression that they're missing what is right under their feet. They're missing the grass that they are walking on because they keep trying to fill shoes that no longer fit them, or they keep trying to find shoes that no longer fit what it is that they wish to wear, or they are wearing shoes that are inappropriate for the walk that they are on, for the path that they have chosen is no longer suitable for the same suit, for the same outfit. For we are growing beyond outgrowing our own outfit, and we are finding new ways to fit into these patterns. We're recognizing new patterns that fit us better. We're recognizing that we are creating new configurations, and this means we are closing out old chapters. We are letting go of old expectations. We are rounding up in numbers, perhaps. This is a play on words. We are allowing ourselves, I'm seeing from like, I've got to go from 2 to 2.5 to 3 to 3.5, and we're going, no, we're going to go from 2 to 5. By the way, I'm not talking dimensions. I'm talking just like our versions of ourselves. And as we round up in our numbers, we then begin to compress all that we have held within our own knowingness. And we find ourselves back to the core of our heart, for that which it is that lies at the core of our heart, that which it is that lies beneath our feet, that which it is that we are seeking is also seeking us. And we bring this up again and again because many people are lost in this idea or ideology that they came here to complete a certain mission. And while that may be true for some people, it is not necessarily true for you or for me, for we are much more than what we believe in many cases, or what we think we believe often in many cases. This is all a play on words. For in many cases, we are speaking in lowercase when we really mean uppercase, or we are finding different sorry, I just went down the rabbit hole of words and letters. And this is point in case, for as we are sharing this communication in this little jingle, in this way of expression, there are so many different layers that we could tune into. Yet if we just go down one corridor, it gives us access to one potential. But if we play with that and we recognize this door leads to many other doors, we open up the potential to harness and harvest that much more potential. So we go back to the one track and we invite those who feel like they are not fulfilling what they came here to do. We invite you to feel back into the heart, to find coordination in order to find your coordinates, in order to stabilize the heart frequency in coherence, in order to activate the deeper human potential that lies within. For that which lies within in many has been dormant, or we have not opened the door from one perspective to find out what it is that has been locked within. And so we have been in our, again, thinking caps, and we have followed a linear path. We have gone down a linear road, and we find maybe in this now moment that this no longer works for us or no longer feels compatible with the road that we are wishing to walk on, or we are walking on a road that we no longer wish to walk on. For we are, I'm showing people putting coins into the wishing well. We are recognizing that that which it is that we are wishing for may not be in alignment with what it is that we are really in the capacity of bringing to our door. And we play with this for a moment, for our passion is communication, expression. And so we are inviting all of you. And by the way, when I say we, I just use we because I'm tuning into a collective of energy. It's just a field of expression, of communication. It's light beings that don't necessarily have a form. It's our higher self, basically. It's my higher self. It's my higher collective. And this is a prime example of not limiting ourselves to a belief about one particular entity, person, place, or thing that we must follow in the footsteps of, or that we must listen to, or that we must follow behind, for we are our own leaders. Yet we cannot know what it is that we are leading ourselves to, or what door we are knocking on, if we do not know or feel into the companionship of our heart. Again, know thyself. And so as we tune into this deeper space of the heart, it allows us to steer our ship in the right direction. We then find ourselves putting one foot in front of the other and allowing the universe to knock at our door. So we are seeking, yet we are not looking outside of us to feel fulfilled. Instead, we are looking within and looking through that doorway of perception. We are looking within in order to then gaze and turn our gaze to the world around us with a new way of interpreting what that world around us is reflecting back to us. So it comes back to perception, it comes back to interpretation, it comes back to how what vibration we are holding that gives us the access to more of our own inner intelligence, intuition, intunement, and therefore our creative abilities. And so some of us feel that we are at a standstill because we are not standing still. We feel we are at a standstill because we are standing still. Let us break that down for a bit. Some of us are not standing still long enough to go within because we feel like we are spending too much time standing still. Standing still and not moving is important in our journey towards movement. So stillness, be still and know, is important in order for us to find our still point, our stillness, our center, in order for us to then move at a faster rate of expansion. And so as we allow ourselves to come away from the ideology or the idea that we must stay on one particular track, or we are here for one particular purpose, and that is our only mission and purpose, we invite you to reorganize that mission statement and to find ourselves moving into a more expansive recognition of what it is that we have been understating, or what it is that we have been overlooking, or what it is that we have not come into coherence with. For as we bring ourselves into attunement with this, we then align ourselves with more of that which it is that we wish to tune into, that we may not even realize we were wishing for. So let us play with this for a moment. For as we make a wish, as we set an intention, as we throw this coin into a well, we cast a spell. We send out an energy, and that energy has a ripple, much like the coin that is falling into the bottom of the well. Yet we are not recognizing the deeper meaning behind why did this tradition even begin? For there are, I'm being invited to play with this for a moment. Oops. I'm being invited to see that there's two sides of the coin. So, oftentimes we pick up a coin and we decide, oh, it's good luck, oh, it's bad luck. If we find tails, it means this. If we find heads, it means this. And I'm seeing a coin falling at the bottom of a well, and us, depending on our vibration, when we throw that coin into the well, it's either going to land tails up or heads up. And so also I'm being called to recognize, what does that coin represent, and how deep is the well, and are there any other components moving the coin around? Recognizing that intention comes from within. We are then directing it through an outside source, which is a coin, which is a man-made object that is a representation of materialism, but not in the sense of materialism. It is a representation of the materialism that is the realm that we are working with, the medium that we are operating with and from within. And so therefore it harmonizes with us, and it gives us, the word I'm hearing is validity. It's almost like by us doing that, it gives us a feeling or a sense of, okay, and so it is done. So there's a lot behind that. Yet we invite you to look at the wishing well, for we've heard the term, the cup that runneth over, and that cup that runneth over is the heart. It comes from the wellspring that is within the ever-flowing vibratory sound and wave rhythm of the heart. And this ripples out and shifts based on our ability to tune into it. So our ability to tune into our heart is directly related to us being able to tune into our frequency, thought pattern, our body, all of the above, our breath. For we are physical beings in manifestation. We are man, right, in this form, and we are creating from this. So how can we determine our full potential if we are unable to tune into the fullness of our very essence, which is within the heart and encapsulated or held within the physical form of the body? And yet, while this is beyond the body, for the heart is not just an organ that has a pump and a pulse and a rhythm, it is so much more. And we are a soul, if you will, encased within human form. Yet, when we establish our purpose through our thinking, we are not necessarily making the appropriate adjustments to tune into what it is that our soul, that is, from one perspective, in a simplistic way of describing it, held within the heart, or a piece of that is part of our heart-centered awareness, which we will compare with compassion, love, empathy, joy, bliss, and emotions. For it is not just happiness that is expressed through the heart. It is the feeling of empathy. It is sadness that sometimes we feel for another human. It is the ability to feel compassion. For these feelings are not necessarily merely emotions. They are a resonance. And we could go into this in much more detail, and perhaps at another time we will. But for this particular transmission, we wish to emphasize, I'm seeing in phi size. So in PHI size, the golden heart, I'm seeing how big it is. It's infinite. And recognize our own size. And this takes us back to the original message or question that many people had been asking, why am I here? And so, for some, it is imperative for their sense of well-being to have a mission and to feel as if they are on the right track and that they are fulfilling that mission. And if that is what warms the cockles of their heart, so to speak, I'm seeing a rooster like, wake up, everybody, I'm here to save the world. Okay. If that is what warms the heart in the truest sense of the word inspiration, again, inner spiral up, there's so much more at the ionic level, okay, so on and so forth. In the truest form of truth and love, which has many different variations of wordplay here, it truly lights us and makes us feel bliss, then so be it. For we are creating, and as we create and we create more from the space of coherence, we can then establish greater joy, not only in our own experiences, but the ripple that is felt all around us as we move forward from this place of joy. Yet we would also invite those who are feeling a bit lost as to what they are supposed to be doing, look within instead of looking without. Play on words. For when we say the words without, it makes us feel as if there is a loss. We are missing something. We are without it. Yet we are always within. And from that place within, we are able to see from many different perspectives what is outside of us, yet all is connected and truly a reflection of what is within. And this may be funny to listen to, or funny sounding, yet we would invite you to go back to the sound of the heartbeat, the feeling of the breath, the recognition of the feeling of walking on the earth at this time. For many have lost their way in the shuffle. Many people are shuffling their feet, feeling as if they are in line, lining up with something that they're not sure they want to line up with, but they feel as if they must continue moving. And we invite those to come back in and be still. In stillness, there is great movement. For within this stillness, we are able to feel the movement within. We are able to feel what moves us, and we are able to move from that space. We are not throwing away from one perspective. I'm seeing the caps, the graduation caps, the thinking caps. We're not throwing that away. Instead, we are merging the two. We are finding our own access to what we already knew. We are finding our own access to what we need to know. We are finding our own access point and finding that inside of this deep well of wellspring found at the heart is a stirring, a deep resonance, a pool, if you will, of light that we are able to then open the floodgates and flood our entire system in such a way that the movements that we make, the steps that we take moving forward, the motion that we create rather than the motion that we are following, we then begin to be the creators of the motion rather than being the followers of emotion. We begin to feel the emotions merge with the inner tuition of the body, and this allows us to integrate and assimilate the deeper meaning of all of it, or the projection from there. We are enabling our own inner I'm hearing inner creativity, we're continuing, we're sending out this signal, we're sending out a projector, we're everything from this state of coherence. While this may seem simplified, it is really that simple, and yet it is something that many people are not harnessing. They are scattered, and as we are scattered, we are not unified. And we speak of being scattered within ourselves, for we are continually addressing home base, plain words, address, home base. For as we find our home base, as we assign ourselves these numbers, we recognize that all is a numerical exchange of infinite cycles and sounds and realizations of the sounds in which we find our resounding frequency, our resonance, and allow this to accumulate, to build. We then begin to duplicate from one perspective. We begin to send out this more advanced signature, signal, signa, and we become a pulsing, vibrating, rhythmic frequency of sound that not only harnesses our human capabilities, not only allows us to find our compatibilities with other humans and our experience here on Earth, drawing to us or magnetizing the experiences that our soul wishes to have, or we could call our higher self, whatever we want to label it as. We are then able to solidify or to bring into our reality, or bring into our reality that which matters to us the most, or we begin to solidify and create matter here on Earth in this human experience through this coordination of set points or coordinates on our map of the heart. And so many are lost in this particular translation, saying, what is it that she is saying? Well, we are saying, go within. And the only way that this can be accessed or crossed, is by us being still, taking a breath, feeling it move through our body, allowing our skin to touch the grass that grows up from within the earth, allowing ourselves to connect physically into our body in order to feel our higher abilities and capacity, to increase our capacitance, to increase our electricity, to feel when this is happening, so that we can then respond or create or feel more from this chemical response that we have by going into our body, by grounding, by syncing up with the physical, in order to then harness the ethereal. For many people are looking at the material, which is a man-made created facade. Yet we believe in it, therefore it is man-made. Yet all is made in the likeness of that which we feel is above or comes from above, yet it comes from within us. For in this particular reality, we are the man creators. And this is not to say that we are creating each other per se, yet we are creating the substance that holds our reality together from one perspective, meaning the materialism, the television, the internet, the artificial intelligence, all created by man. So therefore, the human is who is creating our reality. For all of us are embedded from one perspective within that architecture. Even someone who lives on a mountaintop at some point travels in order to find food, or perhaps calls a loved one. The point is that we are directing our human counterparts to draw into, is to draw our awareness back to where it is that we are creating from, for it is inevitable that we are creating. So if we are creating and we are moving, for movement is inevitable, it is part of our reality. Nothing is stagnant, even though it may feel that way sometimes. We are being called to take action by going inside the heart in order to fully feel into what action it is that we are creating. For every action has a reaction from a chemical perspective, and we are seeing a ripple effect from many actions that are being taken that are this is a play on words. They're being taken. It's like take, materialism, greed. And this comes from lack. It comes from a sense of lack, that we don't have enough, that we are incapable of making our own decisions, that we are, I could go on and on. So let us redirect our energy back to the heart or the soul of the matter, or the soul. For in this journey, we are learning, yet at the same time, we have already learned. So many of the masters and teachers have shared this information, and yet somehow in the shuffle, it gets lost. Or we are so busy looking and thinking and moving that it becomes a groove, a pattern. It becomes a habitual, daily construct that we are unknowingly continually constructing. And so this has been told, but we are going back to our roots, and our roots are in the heart, for we are here to remind ourselves what we have forgotten. And in the shuffle, what we feel like we have lost is no longer obvious to many. And so we must come back to the simplicity of what it means to be a human and what it means to be at the heart of a human, and those simple joys that are our foundation of being human. For within the human, we are creators. We create other humans. We raise children and hold babies and feed animals. And while there are many dark things that happen, that is something that would not continue to happen as frequently if all were to redirect their focus inside to redefine joy and bliss versus control and power. And that is another topic entirely. For many times people create a controlled environment because they feel out of control, or they feel so out of touch with being a human that they have forgotten what joy and what bliss really feel like, and they become addicted to the pattern of materialism. They become addicted to the mathematical equation, we could say, or the sound or the frequency that is created through the feeling of power, because in holding that power, they feel I'm hearing incomplete. It's like it's incomplete, but they feel like they are complete. Yet it is a false sense of completeness, for the lack of humanism is not what the soul necessarily wants to experience. For if that were the case, the soul would incarnate inside of I'm seeing like a robot, or this is a whole very I'm hearing that this entire ideology or concept could get lost in translation, and that's okay for those souls to experience what they chose to experience. Yet there are many people who are not aware of why or what they are doing because they are not connected into their body. So this comes back to the beginning of the message. What is our purpose? And we would invite all to let go of the need to find a purpose, or to look for a purpose, or to look for something outside of themselves to feel fulfilled in a purpose, and to just take a breath. What does the body feel? How does the body feel? What materialism or materially let's play on words, matter really? What matters really? And what objects are we objectifying? Are we putting up above us? For the human potential, again, we come back to, is so much more than what our attention has been directed towards, or so much more than we are looking for. For how can we look for something when we haven't even been begun to look within? Meditation, breath work, grounding. So these are all things I talk about. And as we sync up with the heart, we sync the heart to the brain, we amplify the signal, we communicate with both sides, left and right, we harmonize. We link the root and sacral, solar plexus, the throat. All of it comes into a beautiful collaboration and communication, a symphony of oneness. And we come back to the message that we've been sharing much lately, which is coming back to oneness. We begin to harmonize with all of the pieces of our instrument that is a working symphony, that is an orchestra, or then yields an orchestration or a movement of a particular song. And this song can change and shift and create a sound inside that radiates out through the human collective. For each person has a specific signature and a specific sound. And right now the sound is Om, to sigh in Om. I'm hearing one, Om, Omness. And I'm also hearing the sound is on, like we're finding this coherence more and more. So those that may feel lost, the more that we do this, the more we feel what it is that is available to us, the more we feel. Not in the sense of, okay, I'm being guided to talk about this for a moment. So it's not that we just feel everybody else's emotions, and it's not that we just feel everybody else's stuff, although that can happen the more that we open our senses. And this is something that maybe I'll talk about in a different video, the empaths, right? But when we're in a place of coherence and we're going within and we're stilling that center, that isn't as, it doesn't control us. We're able to usually, not in all cases, but most of the time, we can then monitor that a bit, or monitor isn't even the right word. We're able to so many different places. We're able to tone it, I'm hearing tone it down, right? We're able to kind of quiet all of everybody else's signatures and sounds, and we're able to feel into our own tune. And it's actually kind of like a tuning fork. When we're going into a store, let's say, and it's chaos and there's all this energy, when we're really in a place of resonance and heart, and it's not always going to be that simple. I'm being called to share. It doesn't always work. But the more that we do it and the more consistent we are, the more stability we create, and the more it enhances our ability to hold that signature, that sound, that frequency. And then the other signatures or sounds are humans that are making all this noise. It's two waves coming together, and it kind of like, it's what are the earbuds? It's noise canceling. It cancels it out. It nullifies it. It becomes, it's not overwhelming as much. But we have to find that. We have to recognize when we're not in coherence and bring ourselves back to that space as often, as frequently, in frequency as possible. And I'm also being called to share one more thing, which is don't underestimate the power that we each hold. And don't underestimate the power of humanity. And this will lead me into a different video at a different point. So yeah, in love and light, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Namaste.